I'd like to make this a conversation. I'd like you to join in, because actually you are as good at what I'm going to talk about as I am. So you probably came to this because it's called The Wind Beneath Your Wings, right? No.
No, I came because you were good last time, and I thought you might be good again.
It might be good again. Well, certainly endeavour to live up to your expectations. But that's an interesting one, because I can only be me, so I'll be me. Oh, yeah, come in and sit down, Clive. So, how's everybody feeling right now? If I said from 1, I'm feeling really horrible, I wish I wasn't alive, to 10, I've just died and gone to heaven, I'm that good. Where are you? Can we have the, let's start, we're not going to start at 1, because nobody in this room looks like they're a 1, right? So who's at 6? Nobody puts that. 7. A couple of 7. 8.
And the whole.
8. Fantastic. 9. Anybody doing a 9? 10. Yes. Well done, that lady. Now, sorry? Is that my mum? No.
Charles married.
And what's the drug of choice?
I wish my mum was here. She would have loved to listen to this, and she probably would have to see a few things to say as well. And maybe she'll say them. Who knows? So now you all have a feeling. You just demonstrated that you all have a feeling right now about how you feel. When you came here, you kind of knew. How many times I come here and people go, oh, I love the energy that you get at the Tree of Life. Do you get that?
No.
It's always
I don't feel it.
You don't feel it?
No.
Well,
I can only feel myself.
And that's two really good points there. The first is that you are only ever feeling yourself. But the second one is you're picking up a feeling about life. You are part of life. Life is this big whole. I mean, call it the universe. The universe and you aren't separate. You're just all part. We're all part of it. So, the wind beneath your wings, you have an innate capability to feel life. And one of the great things, and this was a problem I had, and I think it might be a male thing, is men don't do a good job of tuning into themselves. They tune into the telly, they tune into the sport, they tune into what's going on in the money markets. Well, I did anyway, and things like that. But how often do they tune into themselves? You ladies, you've got a bit of an advantage, I think, because quite often you tune into yourselves a lot. Sometimes maybe a little bit too much, I don't know. That's just my own perception on occasion. Go on, you can add. It's a conversation.
Intuition is a lot based around feelings as well. And if you're flowing your intuition, sometimes that's where you sometimes need to go to first to navigate.
Now you're talking. Because we have an inbuilt guidance system. We navigate life through our feelings, through our emotions, through tuning in to ourselves. And that, if I could spend the next 25 minutes just getting you guys to just go, oh yeah, let me just twiddle my knobs a bit and feel that.
Let's feel that.
Am I doing? Do you know? Before I started this talk, I said I wish I was a comedian like Becky Walsh. And I haven't got any material lined up, to be honest with you. So if I'm not being politically incorrect, it's for a reason. No, it's not for a reason. It's just a pure what comes out of my mouth, which is why I record myself, because I love to sort of, I don't prepare a talk, I don't structure it, I haven't got 15 PowerPoint slides. It's just what comes out of my mouth in the moment. And so I like to go back afterwards and go, what did I say? but it's all good usually. Oh, I enjoy it anyway. Look, I'm still doing good with the comedy. Fantastic.
I've just got this visual image now.
Oh.
God, I've had a rough day. I'm going to listen to myself. That really cheered me up.
That's actually quite. I do two things now because I've got a YouTube channel and I've got a website and I put stuff up on that and send stuff out to my audience, etc. And then sometimes I go back to it and go, it's something I recorded and I was in the moment and I was really passionate about something and I recorded it, etc. And I go back and listen to it and go, oh yeah, you were a bit serious in that one, weren't you? Can't forget there's a lightness to life, isn't there? There's a lightness. So, back to the guidance system. Your emotions, you're quite right, are always guiding you. They're always guiding you. My daughter, I can remember when she started driving. She started driving at an era where we got them sat-navs. The moment we didn't want them to get lost, so we got them a sat-nav. The moment they got their car, and they went out and started, they knew how to program the sat-nav, and then off they went. She came back one night. She's in tears, like, Dad, the sat-nav broke, and I just didn't know where I was and how I could get home. And she was totally reliant on this sat-nav to get her where she wanted to go. Now, when I was a kid, too long ago, I'm afraid, but when I was a kid, I learned how to drive by getting lost. I kind of roughly knew where I wanted to go. I might have had an A to Z when I was close to being there, but I got lost. But in getting lost, I found wherever it was. And then after that, I knew where stuff was. I learnt London through getting lost, which is, and that's an interesting skill in itself. So there's two things that are really important about that. First is we all have that sat-nav. And guess what? It never goes wrong. It's always telling us to turn left at the appropriate point. And the next interesting thing is, just like a sat-nav, if we miss the left, it recalculates. It does. It does. And you know that bit with the sat-nav where it goes, but it then goes, and take the next left, and then you don't, and it goes, you go, I know better. So you carry on, right? And it goes, and take the next left. And then you go, no, I know better. And then it goes, at the appropriate moment, make a U-turn. Do you know that? We've all been through that, right? Now, how many times in your life have you been in your list, you've been wandering along doing what you do, and your guidance system has been going, take a left. And you've been going, no, this is the road. Everybody tells me this is the road. And then it goes, take a left. And you go, no, I am going straight on. And then you hit traffic, and then you realise you're lost. And we get ourselves into all kinds of snarls because we're not listening to our navigation system. What do you think what does that take a left? You've all had it. What does it feel like to you? What kind of emotions do you get?
Well, you call it a gut reaction, I suppose.
So it's a feeling. It's this doesn't feel right. Or this does feel right.
Fear can come up as well.
Fear.
The universe is saying turn left and you're saying no, it's too scary.
Too scary.
It can be such a strong feeling that your hackles rise and you get goosebumps and your hairs stand up. So you get this really strong feeling sometimes, don't you?
It's like the sat-nav. The more you don't listen to it, the stronger the feedback you get. It's going, no, you're not listening to me. Turn left. Louder, stronger. Does anybody recognise that? Perfect. So, I want to come back to something you just said. Sorry, what was your name? Sue. Sue, brilliant, Sue. Sometimes, do you remember you said that voice in your head? I want to just make a little point that that voice in your head is not you. Is it? Oh, she's winked at me. I'm onto something. Yeah, no, but it's not you. Quite often, sorry?
Yeah, it's your mind chatter.
Yeah, negative chatter.
It goes all over the place.
Now, I have a thing called turn too early. Quite often when I'm trying to find something, I go, it must be around here somewhere, and I invariably turn too early. And then what happens? I'm lost. Immediately, I'm lost. And then I go, I turned too early, didn't I? How do I get out of this? And that's because my little voice is talking to me going, it must be around here somewhere, you're going to miss it, you're going to miss it. And then I turned too early and I missed it. I've automatically missed it. So there's a difference between when Sue, you were talking about fear, etc., that worry thing. Your guidance system isn't that. Your guidance system is something beyond that. Your guidance system is a knowing. You call it intuition. I'm struggling to describe what that means, but for me, there's never any decision to make. When you come across when you're listening to your guidance system, when you're listening to how you feel, all you need to do is follow a good feeling. It's all you need to do. That's as simple as life is. There's a lot of pressures out there. So there's not just your inner voice, because your inner voice has been trained by a lot of outer voices. I was with Miguel 2 talks ago, and he was talking about conditioning we have from society and friends and the media and all kinds of our parents. But if you read my book, Life Beyond Money, you'll see that at the end, we're all unique individuals. And what's right for our parents isn't the same for us. What's right for our kids isn't the same for them. If everybody just listens to their own guidance system and follows that good feeling, then everybody's going to be in a good place. You can't get it wrong. You do. We do. Now you're absolutely right. So, sorry?
Because we don't listen.
We don't.
We don't follow the, feelings. That's why we.
And sometimes you do, right? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So let me tell you a little story about that. Some of you might have heard this one before. But when I was a kid, I used to sit in the back of my car, as you do before you can drive. And my mum and my dad would be in the front. Of course, my dad would be driving. We'd be in London. And there would be a traffic jam. And my dad would go, I'm going to take a shortcut. And my mum would go, oh yeah. So I told you my mum was going to be in this talk. So anyway, we'd take the shortcut and it would end up being longer. You're right. Way longer. So it didn't stop my dad from doing it. This is back to the men don't listen to their intuition thing. But it was back to my dad, every time we got to a traffic jam and we had to be somewhere, he'd go, right, I know the way to go now. And she'd go, my mum would go, we're not doing one of your long shortcuts again, are we? But the good thing about it was that my dad knew London like the back of his hand by the end of it. He knew all the shortcuts by then. So even when we're not following our guidance system, there's some value in it. There's stuff you're learning, there's stuff you're experiencing. Even if it's to know, when I go over there, it's not good for me. It makes me ill. So I don't go over there. I've learnt that now. Now, it's has anybody got stressed? Everybody. So stressed is at the appropriate moment, please turn round. That's what it is. Only what happens in modern society is we go, I'm just stressed. I'll just work through it. So we're carrying on down that road, and we're just going, no, I'll get there eventually. I'm just going to keep trying. Just keep driving. I'll get more lost, but it'll end up right. So the physical symptoms are beyond that emotional stuff from here. They're like the life going, no, you're not listening. Let me shout a bit louder. Let me give you a stronger signal. I'm teaching grandmother to suck eggs here, aren't I?
Yeah, but we still do it though, don't we?
We do
put
do
ourselves
it. We
through it still, time and time again. We don't learn that much.
Well, there's a problem. Society is set up in a certain way that how, like with jobs and money, so I've got lots of debt, how do I stop and turn around? Because if I stop, I'm going to get thrown out of my house. Yeah? And so there's sort of like these pressures to actually keep going in a direction that you know you don't want to go in anymore. Yeah? Because I know I don't want to be in my job. Yeah? But at the moment I go, how do I get out of that? Yeah? And I'm looking at options and things, and at the moment I have to keep going while I explore around the edges. That makes sense.
Okay. So I'm going to switch to the other side of this. So I've been talking about the first part of the talk, the wings. No, the second part of the talk even, the second bit. Mm-hmm. You have the wings, and it's your job. It's your job to feel the wind, right? It's your job to place your wings in such a way as you catch the wind. A lot of us spend a lot of our time, I spent probably 30 years of mine trying to fly against the wind. And you know what happens then? You have to flap like crazy. And it's very hard work. And it's very long hours. It never stops. It's very tiring. I was fortunate to go to Portugal in October time, and what happens there is that all the vultures that live in Spain go and congregate in the mountains just in the back of Portugal, and because they've got to go across to North Africa for the winter. And all they do is they spiral up on the currents of hot air, and then when they're high enough, they start gliding towards, and they can see Morocco, they start gliding towards Morocco. They don't move their wings once. After they've taken off, they just use the wind to go wherever they need to go. So that's one of the two key parts of this. When you're listening to your guidance system, when you're following that good feeling, it's so much less effort. It's so much less work. It feels so much more natural. Does this make any sense? Mm-hmm. Oh. Then the other part is the wind. Let's talk about the wind, because I want to come back to your point, Clive. What makes you think that there isn't every solution to every problem that everybody ever had out there available to you? The wind is everything. It's life. It's full of bounty. Does anybody get a sense that today is a gift? How beautiful it is just to be here today. Look at the blue sky and the flowers and the birds and stuff. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
Isn't it wonderful to be here in a room of like-minded people who are all enjoying who we are?
It's uplifting.
There you go. Life has that gift for us every second of every day. And it's only us that go, no, it can't be real. Can't be a nice day. Look at this bank balance, it's a real problem. So I've got to ignore that sunshine because it's not relevant anymore. You know, it's what we focus on. And when we don't see life, then it all gets a bit difficult. It can get a bit difficult. And now what you're talking about, Clive, for me anyway, is trusting life. Trusting that it's all out there. Because when I'm trying to take it on me to solve every problem that I've got on my own, how easy does that feel? Impossible, overwhelming. It's not easy. But if I even get a sense that the solutions are out there for me, that the solutions are probably on their way to me right now, wow, that takes the pressure off. I feel like that. It takes the pressure off. So what that means is, coming back to the guidance system, the thing about a sat-nav is you plug in the destination, so you kind of know where you're going. But with us as humans, with our guidance system, we didn't program our destination. We don't know where we're going. That's one of the areas that we struggle with, because we go, well, I think I'm headed here. And then you try going over there, and it ain't that easy. And if we just come back to, Eckhart Tolle and living in the now, if we just come back to the now and go, what feels good for me right now? And connect again with that guidance system, and then use it today and then another day. Derek Mills spoke here last time, and he had a great thing about just for today. Just use your guidance system now. Just follow that heart, that emotion, that intuition to head you in that good direction. And you suddenly start to get a sense of where it is you're headed, at least for this part of your journey. There's a wonderful quote by Steve Jobs. I think it was at his Stanford, that fantastic, if you look it up on YouTube, his Stanford address to the graduating students, where he says, it's easy to join the dots of your life looking backwards. You can start to see, do you remember joining the dot pictures? Where you'd sit there as a kid and you'd kind of squint it and you go, oh yeah, I know what that is, and you'd draw the rest of it in. And it's a bit like that. You start joining if you look back, you can start joining the dots. But if you look forward, you can't necessarily. And sometimes it's not even good to try. There might be something totally different for you out there that you're not allowing in, because you're still fixed with, I know my solution to my problem is this. But actually there are a million solutions to our problems. So trusting your guidance system, really, and that's all I wanted to pretty much. Got 5 minutes left, and it hasn't been much of a conversation, but I thank you for your contribution so far. And let's how do you feel about that? All I wanted to do in this session was to just, because you're all experts, you were born with this guidance system. It works 24/7. It's 100% reliable. Life is 100% reliable, and you know that inherently. Somewhere in here, you knew that. So all I wanted to do with this session was just to kind of give you a nudge. Go, do you remember your guidance system? Are you remembering it? Somehow I just want people to take a big deep breath at this moment and breathe out. I can feel like some tension in this room. Like, pressure off, folks. Just follow your guidance system, right? That's all it is. It's as simple as that. And that's my end message is, we think that life is really complicated, but if you just do this one thing, it's incredibly, incredibly simple. It's far simpler than you think.